Amari, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, we're going to go right into questions for safety Amari Carter. First up, we have Christopher Stock from Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
Amari, curious about your film preparation of Clemson. When did you personally start watching them? Was it even before the schedule came out? And then also, what do you notice from their offense?
So beginning when I started watching Clemson, I would say last week. We take one game at a time. We respect, our opponents. Each opponent that we play, they have, our attention for the time that we prepare for them. And that's just something you have to respect with every team, never getting too far ahead of yourself. Of course, just as a football player, I've watched Clemson before, seeing them on TV and things like that. But, when it was UAB time, I was preparing for UAB, and then so on and so on.
Awesome. Next, we're going to go to Matt Shodel from Kane Sport. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Amari. I'll follow up on that last question a little bit. The Clemson offense, how do you slow those guys down? It seems like, they tend to hit on all cylinders, and if not, they're at least hitting on one cylinder really well. So, how difficult is that challenge?
It's a challenge that we see every week. They have a good offense. They have players, spread all over the field, from their line, to their quarterback, to, running backs, to receivers. So that's always a challenge, for an opposing team when going against Clemson. But the main thing for us is always going to be the main thing. As long as we pursue to the ball, play within our scheme, play within the rules that we have, individually, and then also as a team, and everything will carry itself out. As long as we run to the ball like how we always do, and tackle. That's a big thing. When we tackle, it's never just one person. Tackling that person is a team effort. And that's something that we try to carry on throughout the season every week as we go along, and just getting better as we go along. That's the biggest thing. Get better with every snap that we take. So I would say that's how we solve that problem.
Great. Next, we're going to go to David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Mari, two questions for you. First, I wanted to ask, not having Gervin Hall for the first half of this game coming up, how does that impact the safeties? I imagine you and Bubba Bolden will play the entire first half, if maybe not all. And then if you do need a breather, I know Blake Baker said Brian Balaam, he's comfortable playing him. What are your thoughts on him, and what are your thoughts on just playing the entire first half if necessary?
Yeah, so that really doesn't, give us any problem. If it was me out, then, it would be Bubba and Gervin playing the entire first half, without subbing. If Bubba was out, then it would be me and Gervin playing. That doesn't really serve us a problem. We feel confident, in what we can do, with 2 safeties, 3 safeties, plus Brian. And then when Gervin comes back for the second half, then we feel confident with that too. So, it's just understanding, our limits is, being smart with all the plays, the way we attack a tackle, but not, letting up at all, but just, being smart, taking that extra step, making sure our pad level is down, so there won't be anyone, else in jeopardy of being, thrown out the game and then putting us in a tough situation. But Brian, he's a young guy. He's smart. He's fast. He has the ability to, play against, who we're playing against, the teams that we play against. But he's a quick learner. Well, the things that Coach Bonner, tells us in the meeting room, he does his best to, take what, Coach Bonner says, let it marinate, and then when we go out on the field, then he does his best to, execute on the field. So, it's not really a, thing of, we don't feel comfortable with playing, with, someone who hasn't been playing a lot, because what we do out here, in Green Tree is what really, gets everyone's trust.
And the other question I had for you was, you were just a freshman on that 2017 team that lost to Clemson in the ACC championship game. And obviously, back then it was Jaquan and Sheldrick that were playing a bunch of safety. But what do you see as the differences from that year's team, just from what you saw being around them to this year's team? And what do you feel, more equipped maybe to handle such a game this time around?
I feel like maybe the way we prepare, the 2017 team, defensively speaking, with Quan and Red and, the rest of the defense, I'm speaking for the safeties right now, but, I was able to, learn a lot from those guys. The way they prepare, they always prepare like pros. So I really wouldn't say, too much has changed in that area. But as a defense, altogether, I feel like, we're a little bit more bonded. We're a little bit more, we have seen, many more things, in the recent years where, offensive coordinators that, have come through, our program, being able to, know three offenses, different schemes, that has helped us in ways that, it might not seem so visible. But when we step out on the field, we have more confidence in what we have learned throughout the week going against a new opponent because, we started getting used to, like changes in that area. The main thing is still the main thing. Since I've been here on defense, the main thing has been the main thing, which has been, run to the ball, play tough, tackle, and, play as a unit. That's the biggest thing that we can do this weekend is, play as one unit. It's three phases of the game, and special teams, defense, and offense. And when we find, that groove, that rhythm, where we are all playing, not as, defense, offense, special teams, but as, Miami Hurricanes, then we're playing good ball.
Awesome. We have time for a few more. Next, we're going to go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Amari. Curious as to, if you can speak to the challenge of Trevor Lawrence. He's kind of a unique quarterback in a sense where he can, obviously fit the ball in really tight windows and then also take off and run and get 60, 70 yards on the ground. What's that challenge like as a safety this week when you study what he does?
I think the biggest thing, is my preparation, understanding, Trevor Lawrence. It's just, it's the same thing every week. He's a great quarterback, but it's the same thing every week from my stance. Understanding, the quarterback, understanding, offense, and understanding the scheme. It's not so much me, focusing on just Trevor, but, also their running back. They have good players all over the field. So, as, a safety, you have to respect that. You have to take time to, dive in on, all of their tendencies and their players. But, Trevor, he's a good quarterback. You have to give, respect when it's due. He's able to, run it. He's able to throw it very well. That's something that, we're not going to downsize. He's a good quarterback, and, you have to prepare as if you're going against a great quarterback. So the biggest thing is in practice, just understanding, something that the scout team, may give us. It may look a little bit, different. So it's understanding, okay, we're playing this right now, but in the game, what is it going to be? Or what does it have the chance of becoming? Going from, one play, then, seeing that play and then, thinking, okay, so I've got this play. What can come off of this play? So that's the biggest thing, I think. So,
thanks.
All right, we're going to go to Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports. Dennis, go ahead.
Hey, Amari. Also on Trevor Lawrence, I don't think I know he hasn't thrown an interception in like a year, 314 throws. Has that been mentioned in the room? Is it going to be mentioned? And even if it hasn't, what does that sort of accomplishment mean to you?
Yeah, so we're aware of that. We're aware that he hasn't thrown an interception. But, as defensive backs, we're not banking, oh, he hasn't thrown an interception, so there's not going to be one. So when we're in practice, we're attacking balls. We're attacking balls, like we're going against a quarterback who hasn't thrown an interception, and we're trying to get that interception. And, just like Trevor hasn't thrown an interception, Derek hasn't either. So, when we're in practice, we're seeing, a good quarterback. And then when we're in the game, we're seeing a good quarterback. So I have to give, props to De'Aaron because he's doing the same thing, that people are mentioning Trevor for. And we're seeing it every day in practice. So I love that I have a quarterback, who's in our practice, and is doing the same thing, we see, the top quarterback at Clemson doing, or the top quarterback, for whoever we're going to play. We have one of those on our team, and, that's what I love.
Would the turnover chain be a little bit more special if you broke that streak this week?
No.
All right.
I don't think it would, because in the moment, that a turnover is large. It's very big. In a game, especially when you're going against a good offense. But at the end of the day, we're looking to win. Not celebrate or get too happy. That we got an interception off a quarterback who hasn't thrown an interception. The main thing is still the main thing. That's to win the game.
Okay. Thanks, man. Good luck.
Awesome. Our last question for Amari comes from Tom D'Angelo of the Palm Beach Post. Tom, go ahead.
Hey, Amari. Manny mentioned how this is a game that Clemson is very used to. It's not really a big deal for Clemson. It isn't at all to be in these games, but UM hasn't been in a lot of them. You guys were one your freshman year, Notre Dame. So how difficult is it to not get caught up in that and be in the biggest game in the country and everybody's going to be looking at it and going against, a team that just there's national championships and all kinds of conference championships?
Honestly, like I said before, this program, we give respect when it's due, and we believe that's the right thing to do. Obviously, we're going against, a good team in Clemson, but at the end of the day, we're playing football. We know how to play football. We've been playing football for a while, and just like how they have their good players, we have our good players. But in the sense of, the hype around the game and everything, it's just understanding that it doesn't matter, what grass or what field that ball is set on. The difference between last Saturday and this Saturday is no different. We still have to put that ball down. We still have to play. You still have to make plays. You still have to tackle. Our offense still has to make plays, score touchdowns, and we still have to stop the person with the ball. So, it is a big game because, everyone is saying it's a big game. But, there's downs that have to be played. And, we're going into the game, like I said, with respect for Clemson. They're number one for a reason. But we also feel like, we have the right to be here. And, that's on us to prove that, as a team. So as long as we prove that right, then in the light of it being a big game, it's a big game because it's Clemson, but to us, it's another game. There's downs that have to be played.
Thank you.
I think you're muted. Oh, okay.
Amari, thanks for taking the time to talk with us, and good luck on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, guys.